I intend to have a little bit of fun with you today. Good. Before then, if I can get this to work, I'll do a short, well, that helps. I'll do a short presentation to actually show you what I do. Now, this is provided I can get this to actually work this time. As I said, I will advertise, market, promote. It works. I'm going to have to be a computer operator, I can see this. Anything. And I mean anything. So where do you start if you're going to produce a product? Now bear with me just a second. Sorry. This computer's played up all day. Right. What I was going to say is, where do you start? You go and talk to your customer and you produce for them a marketing plan. It's got to be the first step you do with anything. You actually look at their product, you tell them what it is, how you make it, you look at their profitability, their markets, virtually anything that that would concern that particular product. Now this is one I did earlier. This was for a company called the Mad Cat Brewery, and it dealt with everything. This guy was setting up a company. I sorted out his product, where he put it, his sales and marketing, his packaging, which Gary very kindly did, how we priced the product, the physical environment it went into, his staffing levels, everything. Now there was only one problem with that. He didn't speak to me for 3 weeks afterwards, because I took his whole marketing plan totally apart and said, you're doing it wrong. But he did actually have the courage to phone me up and say, okay, I agree, I've done it wrong, now come and help me. His products were launched successfully. He's now got a very successful building operating out of Brogdale. He markets the product well, he's selling it well, and he's beginning to make a name for himself. So even though he didn't talk to me, and he lost those 3 weeks, he did actually come back and get it right. Now, using my experience, I'm going to show you how to rebrand an old product into a new one, just by taking a different spin on it. Bear with me with this, I'm sorry about this. It's only by putting how really you perceive that product. So I'm going to start with, as I said, the marketing plan, which will contain a little bit more. The company info, corporate ID, market audience, right down to the point of sale material, advertising, publicity. And it's for a product called Aquadry. Now this will probably give you a bit of a laugh when you realise just what Aquadry is. So if I start off with the product identity and the logo, as I said, I shall introduce Aquadry. Now you might wonder what that is. Well,
dehydrated water, isn't it?
It is, that's exactly what it is, dehydrated water. Now I'll make you think, right? Okay, its unique selling point is it's all the goodness of the ocean, but without the bulk. Somebody's guessed it, but keep that quiet. Right, now from the product, I'd look at sort of the company identity and the application. Well, in this case, you see the logo, you apply it to things like the stationery, the business cards, the comp slips. There's lots of variations on that. Obviously the website, this is where you bring Rob into the situation. I could design the thing and then Rob would tell you how to actually make it work. I go into the product packaging, and I did actually do a dummy just to make sure that it does work. Trying to do this at the dark is good fun. But I go on to things like sales literature, product information. So anybody that wants something that would promote their product, Sharon, we did a nice little brochure with. That seems to work quite well. And then things like point of sale material, we'd have things like hanging banners, we do all of that sort of thing. I did a lot of work with Dior, where I used to do all the signs for the big shops. Oops. And then that would go into things like shelf edging, shelf wobblers, any sort of point of sale material. Right down to vehicle liveries, so I can organise wraps on vehicles. Then that would go into advertising. Here you look at the product, you'd actually see what the application is, where you can find a market for the product. So here I've got cookery, and I've also got health and safety for the same product. I'll get the thing to move, go your bum. This is not the most professional thing here, sorry about this. But again, as I said, I'd look at sort of other things like that was what I was looking for. Where I'd look at other uses for the product. So I've gone from health and safety for cooking to pest control, cleaning applications, fire extinguishers. I'll get somebody to do this for me. Which would then be turned into all sorts of PR, press releases. It will go eventually. Exhibitions, I design, build and install exhibitions, and that has involved everything from taking an elephant for a photo shoot down to finding a stuffed puma for one exhibition and blowing up a tank on another. I can organise magazine articles. I currently write for 3 magazines at the moment, where I actually generate the stories, I do the site visits, do the interviews with people, and then actually design the magazines on top of that. Anyway, as I said, it doesn't matter what you do, what your marketing object is, I can do all of those things, plus things like direct mailing. I can even personalise your mailings. I can sort out your data. I can get you radio interviews. I can stage events, which is quite good fun. Organise press conferences, and I did one in a rubbish tip once, which was quite good fun. Do testimonials. I've done a batch for Colin. Product sampling, where you take a product into a shop, do shopper appraisals. Get the damn thing to work. And if that's not enough, if you can think of some sort of promotional media that you would like to work in, I'm pretty certain I can organise it for you. So, as I said, surprise, surprise, I do all of those. That's me, Barry Morgan. As Gary describes me, the chapter smart-ass. So, any questions? Great. Brilliant. I've got one. Sorry, Gary.
You were talking about doing the vehicle wraps and things. I know somebody who does magnets. Would he be a contact you'd be interested in for the sides of vans and
But
things?
usually it's where people come along and say, I've bought myself a van and they don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
I can actually produce the artwork that will go onto the van. So I do that for people like Pertec.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay.
What magazines do you write for?
One is Demolition, and the other one is a thing called In the Pipeline, which is to do with hydraulics. Really interesting things. But I've done 2 articles for the Demolition one this month, and I've done 18 for the Pipeline magazine. Well, thank you very much.
Brilliant.